Hey everybody, welcome to The Art of Guitar. Today's video is going to be a lot of fun because, I get sent a lot of links to Metallica covers, and I really love seeing younger bands playing metal just in general, but it's really great whenever they're playing on a decent stage in front of an audience that seems to be digging it. And this video caught my attention for all those reasons, but the main reason is that this video is one of the most intense performances I've ever seen. And that includes any age of band. These guys are high schoolers playing Creeping Death at a school talent show. And just the way they play and their energy really picked me up one night when I was feeling kind of tired. So I watched the video and I was about to go to bed. And afterwards, I just felt like so excited inside. I just felt this rush, like someone just gave me a shot of adrenaline that I couldn't go to bed for hours later. It was wild. So I knew I had to make a video about it. Sadly, though, there's one huge downside to this video, and that's the audio quality. The school that they played at does not have a PA system for a full band. It's just for the vocals. So all the instruments and the drums kind of get washed out in the background. But even that being the case, the band still puts on a crazy performance that I believe is worth making a video about. By the way, I'm going to do what I always do. I'm going to play a section of the video and then I'll comment on it. That's number one, to get you guys to go watch the full video, the full version of it on the original person who posted its channel. So I believe it's the singer guitar player who posted it on his channel. I think his name's Cohen. I might be mispronouncing that. But another reason is because of copyright. Whenever I do a Metallica video, it seems to get flagged. I don't know if it's Lars Ulrich on his computer in his basement or something, but that's usually the case. So those two reasons are why I'm going to do it like I always do it in segments. Okay, let's go.
How are we doing tonight? Yeah, how's that? Let's go!
All right, are you guys feeling that rush of adrenaline yet? I mean, just the way he's getting the crowd into it. I feel like I'm at like a Tony Robbins event or something, like an inspirational speaker. It's so wild. I love the curtain that's shut in the beginning of this video because it reminds me of when I see some bands and they have a huge black curtain, and then as soon as they start, the curtain falls, and it's just really exciting. Well, in this case, it opens old school style, but it's still pretty sweet. And then they come in just holding out that E chord. It's a great way to get the crowd ready for what you're about to do, and it allows you to play something to kind of shake off some nerves and kind of get a feel for what the sound is going to be like if you weren't able to do a sound check. So can you see what I mean about the music? It's in the background and the vocals are right up front. You just have to get used to that for this video. Fortunately, the lead guitar player does turn his amp up later on, and it sounds a lot better, at least on his end. It's always interesting to see whenever a drummer's playing a Metallica song on a 5-piece kit, how they perform, because Lars has all those toms to work with and double bass and everything like that. So in order to pull off a Metallica song on a 5-piece kit, you really have to learn how to optimize every drum, and this drummer seems to be doing that. By the way, I also love that both guitar players are playing Explorer electric guitars like James Hetfield. I just can't tell from this distance if they're Epiphones or Gibsons or ESPs or what, but it's pretty sweet to see two people playing an Explorer. A little nervous about the bass player. He didn't do the tuck the cable in the strap technique, but hopefully it all, stays intact and he doesn't, rip it out of the bass as he's playing, because that can happen. Okay, let's keep going. couldn't believe it when the singer hyped up the crowd so well, and then he went back into playing the song, and he didn't slow it down at all, because the band starts off so fast. By the way, I timed it, and they're playing at 260 beats per minute. Metallica nowadays plays it at 220 beats a minute. But that being said, if you go all the way back to 1986, Metallica played it around this tempo as well, and that's known as Metallica's fastest period of playing. So the singer had a chance to slow things down because the whole band stopped, he hypes up the crowd, and all of a sudden he kicks back in, but he doesn't relent. He just goes full in. I love that. The only question I had was, are they going to be able to keep it going through the whole song? Now, if you watch, the singer does stop playing rhythm guitar as he sings. And by the way, he's got an awesome voice. I mean, I don't know if you could sing a whole show like that. It seems like they're taking all the energy of a full show and putting it into one song, which you have to do when you're in a talent show sometimes. But it was a question mark for me if the band was going to be able to sustain this energy and this speed all the way to the end of the song. I also love that they're all doing the old school headbanging. You know, it's like they're bringing it back. And even the lead guitar player who has shorter hair, he's going to town, and he kind of has that early Dave Mustaine shorter hair vibe headbang happening. That was really cool to see that. Okay, let's check out the first chorus and beyond.
So let me return, so let me know, I sit by the chosen one. So let me return, so let me know, to kill the firstborn, no son, my baby man.
I forgot to mention that as Cohen stops playing the guitar during the verse, the other guitarist is actually doing all of it with downstrokes. So they're both doing the downstroke thing. They're not relenting. But the whole time, I just have to hand it to Carson for keeping the rhythm solid through that whole thing, through the verses and through everything. So if you watch his hand, man, that is some insane downpicking. It's a huge relief that Cohen's vocals are so intense and they sound great, because they are really the thing you hear the most, and it's filling up the space that is being left with the instruments being so far in the background. So if he would have had a weak voice, this whole thing would have been a disaster. The bass player Cameron seems to be doing all the right stuff. You just can't hear him. But, you know, he looks cool on stage. I actually have that same shirt. I was going to wear it today, but I thought that'd be weird if I wore the same shirt as him. And I'm still just worried about that cable coming out. The drummer Eric is doing a great job holding it all together. I mean, when you're in that situation, it's like an impossible job, because you can't hear anything when you're on a huge stage and the amps are the only thing coming through. You have no monitor happening. So you have to know the song that well, where you just keep trucking along no matter what happens. The guitars, even though the amps are kind of close, you know, that at least the one amp is kind of close to him, you can't hear it as well as you would think when you're on the drum kit. The amp is in front of him a little bit, and everything must sound like just huge echoes in a big room like this. So yeah, he's killing it despite the crazy circumstances. Now, before I play the solo, or before he plays the solo, I should say, did you notice that the lead guitar player went over to his amp and turned it up a little bit, and suddenly you can hear him, and it's perfect timing because the solo's coming up, but it really made me wish the rest of the band members would have followed suit and turned up just a little bit. It would have been perfect. Okay, let's go to the solo. All right, that was pure chaos, right? But somehow they stayed on the tracks. And I'll tell you kind of how I think that happened. the drummer just has to keep going no matter what. If he were to follow Carson's leads, there could be an issue going on because first of all, I'm not sure he can really hear it. Second of all, I think the rest of the band would have come apart even more if the drummer's trying to follow somebody else. So he did a really good job just staying the course the whole time. Now, Carson's lead work is really great. You can tell he knows the solo and he can play it really well. He's just off the beat a little bit. You know, I'm pretty sure now all he can hear is his own guitar and a little bit of the band, but that's got to be so tough to balance both worlds and try to play a solo like that. So he does the right thing at the end. He hits the high note, the high bend at the end, and just holds it till the band figures out where they're at, and then bam, they all come back in together, which we're going to see here pretty soon for the bridge. The first time I watched this, I was thinking, they're not going to do the die thing. Are they with the audience, you know, like Metallica does? Because you could tell by their mannerisms that they've seen a lot of Metallica videos of them playing live. So I was like, are they going to do that at a high school talent show? We're about to see.
I hear you screaming, die, 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 more louder.
So this is a pretty cool situation because, you know, they're having the crowd yell die at a school and everyone's getting into it. At first you could hear some people laughing because they're probably like, what the heck's going on here? This is crazy. And what's great is I feel like the band is feeling something and they're making the audience actually feel something. It's so easy to feel apathetic these days. So all of a sudden to have this crowd just all chanting together, that had to feel pretty cool. One of my favorite things is actually watching Carson the whole time, how excited he looks. He almost looks like he's a crowd member, really loving the band, like their biggest fan, but he's also in the band. He's on stage with the band and he's their biggest fan at the same time. It's really cool to see that. I didn't notice this before. This is like my 10th time watching this. I just noticed that the lights turn red on this part, which is actually making it a lot more exciting than just the blue that they had earlier. So it's kind of looking like a real concert now, you know, if they just had a damn PA system. And some smoke would be cool too. So you have all these kids yelling, die, die. I'm just wondering what the teachers are thinking at this point, you know, if they're getting ready to like shut it down or they're waiting for kids to riot or something. But yeah, that was really cool to see. And I bet you everyone on stage had goosebumps at this point.
Don't let it be done! Kill the firstborn! I'm giving it!
Sorry, I have to pause it right there because I have to mention this. As the singer goes over to the lead guitar player and they play this harmonizing lead part together, you can kind of see them look at each other and smile. And that's one of those moments that are going to be, you know, in your mind for the rest of your life. They're probably looking at each other going like, how is this happening? Is this real life? It's just one of those pinch me moments where you're not sure if you're dreaming or not. So I wanted to highlight that. And I bet you that's what really happened between them. So, oh, I noticed the bass player kind of walks away from his amp and I'm watching that cable, worried it's going to come out. But he has a good sense of when it's, you know, getting to the end of the leash, if you will, and he kind of walks back. So these guys are really showing a lot of professionalism at their age. It's making me wonder how long they've been together. So, all right, let's go to the end here. Okay, so many incredible things happen in a very short amount of time. If you notice, the crowd was kind of singing along with the end. That's how awesome this crowd is. You know, I don't know if these guys are all Metallica fans or if they're just that into this performance that they just kind of follow it along, but that's what Metallica's actual crowd does when they play that part. So Carson does a great job doing that end part. I just wish he had a wah pedal. I think that would have really made that part really great. And he is speeding ahead a little bit. Once again, it's probably hard to hear everybody, but they're just kind of exploding now to the finish line. I was worried about a couple things. I was thinking, can they keep up this intensity all the way to the end? And obviously they can. I was a little bit worried though at the very end, you know, when they were supposed to hold out the note. I thought the drummer might just end it early. Sometimes that can happen. And it's like, man, we got to play this as long as possible. Just kind of keep this alive for as long as we can. And so the drummer kind of stops and then he keeps it going again. And I'm glad he did, because all of a sudden the singer goes out and he kicks one of the decorations that's on the edge of the stage in true rock and roll fashion. He does it earlier as well, but I really noticed it at the end. He just kind of goes up and boots it off the stage. And you could tell it's spontaneous because the bass player kind of laughs at it like, what the hell are you doing? And then the drummer follows up by tossing his drumsticks. You know, that's another rock and roll move that I love. I'm glad he didn't launch him into the crowd though, because he's so far back that could have been pretty dangerous, I think. And then Carson starts ripping into a lead. Once again, it would have been over the top if he had a wah pedal, but it was still really cool to see that. That's that crescendo that you never want to end, but you eventually have to. And so eventually it does come to an end and the crowd goes nuts and the curtain closes and it was just like this perfect ending. I know that feeling too when the curtain closes and you know you killed it out there and the crowd's going crazy. And one of the best feelings is that, you know, the curtain had already closed, the last note had been played, and there's nothing you could do now to screw it up. It happened. It's time stamped in history forever. And, you know, you just can't believe it all took place. Now, that's the kind of performance and reaction that can fuel you for decades afterwards. That's what happened to my old band. It's like you remember that feeling. You got a really great response early on, but to experience that really sets you up for the rest of your life. You're always kind of chasing that feeling again. And hopefully these guys stay with it because they're all individually very talented and together they're quite the unit. So congratulations to all four of these guys for pulling that performance off. And if you see this video, leave a comment and let me know if you guys have a band name now or what your plans are for the future. I'd be looking forward to hearing about that. And everyone, thanks for watching and we will catch you at the next video. Hopefully you feel as pumped up as I do right now. Okay, we'll catch you later. Bye-bye.